Take me out to California.
Hi guys, okay, so this is a bit of a ranty video, I would imagine, and I haven't thought about it massively beforehand, but I was watching something. Yesterday I was doing a BBC Nottingham, and I was doing an interview, and on the way back I was just listening to different various news type things and YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. And one of the things I was watching was a BBC News thing about some stuff that had been going on in Birmingham, which is not far from me. I'm in the Midlands in Coventry. And I had heard about this story, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of it. And this was a story where parents had been protesting outside of some schools in Birmingham, and I think a few other places as well. And they were protesting about certain things that were going to be in the curriculum and the syllabus for kids at the school. And this was something called, I forget the name of it, but it was basically about inclusion. It was about talking about relationships, whether that be LGBT type stuff. It was about inclusion in terms of race and religion. And in some of the, it was something called, something like about not being an outsider. So again, it was about inclusion. I forget the name of it, I should probably check that, but I'm just on a rant. But there was a mostly Muslim backlash. I might be wrong on that wholly, but it was instigated by a guy who was a Muslim guy, and he felt that some of the syllabus was in contradiction to what was being taught in the homes of Muslim households in terms of their religion. And I watched a few different people talking about this, whether that be on daytime TV here in the UK, and their argument was that it was in contradiction to their religion. And a lot of the protest was actually based around hype and misinformation, and that they thought that people were discussing gay sex. And the head teachers were saying, well, that's not the case. We're talking about relationships, and all we are doing is saying there are many different types of love, there are many different types of relationship, and we accept all. This weekend, obviously this is Pride Month. I went to Pride at the weekend with my daughters, and I feel really lucky because I grew up in a household where you accepted people based on your interactions with them, not by race, not by religion, not by colour, not by sexual orientation. I feel lucky that my parents brought me up like that. I was not brought up in an angry, hateful household. I was brought up in a home of liberals where we went, you know what, just be a nice human being and then do what you want with your life. Have sex with whoever you want to have sex with. It's as long as it is consenting adults, all is fine. It just makes me really quite angry that we are in 2019 and we are still discussing this. My husband used to say, like, it's easier to be liberal because I'm not full of anger and hate. I know I'm having a ranty video, but I have an understanding of people's differences. But in terms of a school situation, if you have a particular religion, whether that's Muslim, Catholicism, whatever else, whatever your religion, if your club, because that's all it is, don't get offended, I don't give a shit. Whatever club you decide you want to be in, be part of that club. As long as you're not, extreme, then fine, be part of that club. But if you then want to integrate into society, then there's certain rules that you have to follow in the same way we have to follow certain laws of the land. If you put your child into a mainstream school, then I'm sorry, but you have to follow mainstream education. And actually, the UK is pretty tolerant of all. And I heard many people, saying we are tolerant. It's always the argument, isn't it? We are tolerant, but we don't want them ones in. It's bullshit. And if you decide you want to be part of a certain club, whatever religion that is, and within that club you have certain things you believe that are contrary to perhaps the mainstream, then you need to take yourself and and educate your children on either how to live alongside people that are different, or you need to go to a religious school. There's no two ways about it. In the UK, we are certainly fairly progressive in our views, and most people, the majority of people I think these days, kind of go, I don't really care what your sexual orientation is. It's 2019, do you? Just do you, whatever you want to do. And the schools were not talking about sexuality. I mean, I have a different argument on this. I think we should be talking about children. We should be talking to our children sexuality and gender and all of those things. I believe that. And that doesn't mean sexualizing your children, for God's sake. At the end of the day, I was, in primary school and knew how babies were made, because it's natural, it's part of life. No, I'm not talking about, bringing sex into, young children's lives from being young. It's not about it's not about being weird. It's about going, this is the facts of life. This is how humans are created. And then as they get older, explaining that actually sex can be enjoyable, and we can talk about sexuality, and you might like the same sex, you might not be sure what you like. And it's not about, I heard people saying this whole, it's promoting gay. It's like as if they're like, come, I don't know what would somebody be getting out of getting someone to be gay? Let's be honest, that's absolutely implausible. It can't happen. Don't be so ridiculous. That doesn't happen. You can't say to somebody straight, you should be gay, and then like tease them over to the gay side. It doesn't work that way. That's just ridiculous. But if it did, what would somebody be gaining by making the country gay? Think about it, and actually think about it. I don't know what's being gained. Like, it's just a stupid argument. And the other argument was you're promoting promiscuous behavior. A Miley Cyrus video could do that. Like we live in a world where we have access to porn 24/7 if we want to. And I actually think all choices, it's good to have choices. You can make a decision to watch that or not. You can talk to your children about that stuff or not. I largely think that you should talk to your children about everything, because they will look anyway. And if you don't, and you make it like all like taboo, and that's gonna help them go look at that kind of stuff. But you're not gonna make somebody be gay or transgender. Get a grip. Seriously. I'm sort of saying this as a joke, but it's 2019. Do whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. And in schools, we will be talking about inclusion. We will be saying, do you know what? Some families have 2 dads. Some families have 2 moms. Some families are single parents. That is life. That's just the modern world. And there's not bad in that. It's just how it is. And we are supposed to be teaching our children. Okay, so my rant got cut off there because the postman came. He nearly got the back end of it as well. We are supposed to be teaching our children to be adults that go out into the real world. And in the real world, my friends, there are gay people and transgender people and single parent families and promiscuous people and people that love sex, and it's fine and it's okay and it's none of your business. And your children will grow up and they will have to live in that world. And if you want them to live in that world and be whole, round, decent human beings, then you have to give them that knowledge. Now, of course, on the other side, you could argue, well, these religious people have the right to have their views. They do, but I think anything that is intolerant of other people isn't acceptable, because it's inciting hatred towards other people. Now, I'm not inciting hatred towards anybody of any religion. Do you? If you want to believe in a cloud god, go believe in a cloud god. I don't care. It is up to you. And at the end of the day, we are all just trying to get through life and enjoy it. And some of you believe in an afterlife, and that's great. And some of you don't, and that's fine as well. We're all just trying to enjoy ourselves and live alongside each other. But I just feel like are we still having this conversation? Seriously, are we still having this conversation about people being gay? Some people are gay. I mean, wasn't that the I forget the charity, gay charity, Stonewall, is it? I'm gonna get this wrong, aren't I? But their advertising just said, some people are gay, get over it. I just loved it so much. Some people are gay, get over it. It's fine. I mean, I just can't, I have got better things to do with my time than worry if people are being recruited into gayness. I mean, I joked with my daughters. I mean, I talked to my daughters about sexuality. They know about what gayness is. I've talked about transgender stuff with them. It's part of the world. I can't just ignore it. And I have to say, well, this is how some people feel. And I've always, you know, my daughters know that if they were gay, I don't think they are. I think you would know. I think you would know by now. From people that I know who are gay, they've known fairly early on. But I've spoken to them about that stuff, and I said, I don't care what you are. I want you to love and be loved, and that's all that matters to me, that you find a life that's happy and true to you, and anything else doesn't matter. I will love you always, no matter what. It's the end of story, and that's what we should be teaching our children. Love is love, whatever form it comes in. And standing outside of a school and screeching hatred and bigoted homophobia, let's call it what it is, that ain't love. That isn't inclusion. That's not being tolerant and living side by side. The children weren't being told about sex. Get over it. They weren't. Get your facts correct. They were being taught about relationships, and you can't deny their existence, whether you agree with it and your religion agrees with it or not. Tough shit if it doesn't. I don't agree with a lot that's in any of the religions. I'm not religious. I think it's nonsensical. That's my belief. You don't see me protesting outside of a mosque or a church. No, because I just think, do you? You're happy in there. Enjoy it. Whatever. It's none of my business, and it's none of your business. If you have that big of an issue with children being told what's in the world, then I don't know, you need to go and live in the middle of the woods and not speak to anybody else. You can't make that go away. Anyway, there's no point to this video other than we all, as somebody who has a platform, I want to put it out there. Some people are gay, get over it. Stop wasting your time when there's bigger things and more important issues. Talk to your children about love and inclusion and acceptance, and then our world will be a better place to live in. Peace. Like, actually, peace, seriously.
Take me out to California. Take me out to California. I feel the day is coming to an